name of Jesus. Oh Lord, grant him the divine utterance to deliver the lecture this afternoon. To us, the listeners, we ask that you grant us listening ears and retentive memory. We ask that this 428 inaugural lecture, Lord, we end in praise to the glory of your holy name. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed.
Thank you, please. You may have your seat. Is the acting Vice Chancellor of Ambrosary University, Ekuma, and the distinguished chairman for the 128th inaugural lecture of this university is no other person than Professor Sunday Olowo Samuel. The acting registrar is Mr. Ephraim Ikareho Isiraoje. The bursar is Dr. Aho Oshoke Sadiq. The librarian is Dr. Akerele Johnson Ayudoji. And the acting provost, College of Medicine, is Professor Blessing Owahina Idonije. Deans of our various faculties. Dean, School of Postgraduate Studies, Professor Mrs. Idialu Ete. Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Food Science, Professor Mrs. Gladys Igile. Dean, Faculty of Arts, Professor Ahilome Donatus Omofuma. Dean, Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences, Dr. Edayangbe George Oselonamen. Dean, Faculty of Basic Clinical Sciences, Professor Igbe Payim Alex. Acting Dean, Faculty of Clinical Sciences, Professor Andrew E. Dogo. Dean, Faculty of Education, Professor Augustine Ituha Ojugo. Dean, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Engineer Professor Emmanuel Ufwa. Dean, Faculty of Environmental Studies, Architect Professor Alfred Olurutoba Obabori. Acting Dean, Faculty of Law, Dr. Emmanuel E. Ahibe. Dean, Faculty of Life Sciences, Professor Hansen Usajaye Taiwo Iyawe. Dean, Faculty of Management Sciences, Professor Julius Idialu Ikareho. Dean, Faculty of Medical Laboratory Sciences, Professor Kogun Godwin Ray. Dean, Faculty of Physical Sciences, Professor Ikotoki Festus Usazuwa. Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, Professor Imonde Henry Otianose. Acting Dean, Student Services, Barrister Bensi Peters Ujelara. Academic Directors, Director Academic Planning, Professor Mrs. Omoreji Eunice Uti. Director Center for Strategic and Development Studies, Professor Akbede George Obozakale. Director Consultancy Services, Professor Sundi Michael Useho. Director, Directorate of Science and Humanities, Professor Matthew Osime Igalo. Director, Directorate of IGMB and Foundations Program, Dr. Kestin Oyamenda Oseji. Director, General Studies Division, Professor Ignis Osede Iriugbe. Director, Industrial Training Unit, Professor Magnus Osasoje Ojefo. Director, Information and Communication Technology, Professor Eneari Onome Martins. Director, Institute of Education, Professor Felix Ilori Olusi. Acting Director, Institute for Governance and Development, Dr. Olufumilayo Feni Olumensi. Director, Center for Entrepreneurial Career Studies and Development, Professor Momo Lawan Rewanin. Director, Quality Assurance and Leakages, Professor Idemudian Waziri Edopa. Director, Research, Publication and Development, Professor Omi Ujambi. Acting Vice Chancellor, sir, permits me to quickly inform you that we have one-time Vice Chancellor of Ambrosary University, Ekuma, Professor D.O. Agbumia, in our midst. Also, we want to recognize the presence of one of the members of AAU Governing Council is no other person than Professor J. Izibili. We want to recognize the presence also of the former University Librarian, AAU ECOMA, Chief Professor and Professor Mrs. Samuel Ifido. We also want to really recognize the presence of the former Deputy Vice Professor and Mrs. Theophilos Agueda. Former Provost, College of Medicine, Professor Kogo is here. We recognize the presence. We want to recognize also a member of council representing convocation is of the Department of Philosophy, Professor Louis Igbafe. We recognize the presence. Acting Vice Chancellor permits me to also recognize the presence of a former Provost, College of Education, Igwebe, Professor and Professor Mrs. M. Omo Ojugo. I also want to recognize the presence of the former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration, Ambrose Ali University, Ekuma, Professor P.O. Oviasuyi. We also want to recognize the presence of the Student Affairs Officer, a Principal Assistant Registrar of the Registry Department, and a member of the Governing Council representing congregation. It's my honor to introduce Comrade Thomas Onofwa. Recognize all senators who are here seated, all heads of department, especially the head Department of Philosophy, Faculty of Arts, Dr. Nusahari Monday Rigo. We recognize your presence. All non-academic directors and deputy registrars of Ambrose Ali University, Ekuma, especially the deputy registrar in charge of Senate, Mr. Friday Omogwe. We want to recognize the presence of all staff of Ambrose Ali University, Ekuma. If you are here, please put your hands together for yourself. Greatest Nigerian students! We want to recognize the presence of the students of our great university, and most especially students from the Department of Philosophy and Faculty of Arts. You are welcome. We want to recognize, ladies and gentlemen, the better half of the inaugural lecturer. We are happy to have in our midst Mrs. E.O. Izibili and the children of the inaugural. Please stand up and greet us, ma'am. You are welcome. You're welcome. I want to specially recognize, sir, the Reverend in charge of the inaugural lecturer is the District Superintendent of Eastern District, Nigeria. There's no other person than Reverend Toefo Odiame. Welcome, sir. Friends and well-wishers of the inaugural lecturers, wherever you are seated, you are most highly welcome to Ambrose Ali University. Everyone will recognize your presence. You are welcome. Ukwa Secondary Community School, Ukwa. We recognize your presence. You are welcome. AAU ECOMA. Esaoye. We recognize your presence. You are welcome. Eastern Student Association of Nigeria, AAU chapter. We recognize your presence. You are welcome. Gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, please turn to your right and to your left and welcome your neighbor to the 128th inaugural lecture in the inaugural lecture series of Ambrose Ali University, Ekuma. Tell him or her your name. You can exchange your account numbers. God bless you. Acting Vice Chancellor, distinguished chairman for the 128th inaugural lecture, permit me to invite the acting registrar of Ambrose Ali University, Ekuma, Mr. Ephraim Ikarehon Iskrauji, to direct us further. Please put your hands together for him.
I want to welcome you to the 128th inaugural lecture this afternoon of Ambrose Ali University. I have the honor to call on the acting Vice Chancellor to declare the 128th inaugural lecture of Ambrose Ali University open and also give his opening remarks. Thank you.
Acting Vice Chancellor of Ambrose University, Ekuma, I declare the 128th Inaugural Lecture of Ambrose University, Ekuma open.
The principal officers of our great university, former Vice Chancellor of Ambrose Ali University, Professor D.O. Aibomia, who employed me in 2005 as a lecturer one. Distinguished members of the governing council here present, past principal officers of our university here present, distinguished members of Senate, congregation and convocation, professors, HODs, directors, distinguished guests, staff and valuable students of Ambrose Ali University, Ekuma, the royal fathers here present, my lords, spiritual and temporal, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 128th in the series of inaugural lectures of this great university and the 23rd in our bi-monthly series, which is being delivered today by our very own Professor Matthew Izibili, a professor of philosophy from the Department of Philosophy, Faculty of Arts. It is titled Philosophy in the Service of Society, the Asian Model of AIHEBHOLORIA. AIHEBHOLORIA. This is the 12th inaugural lecture from the Faculty of Arts and the 4th from the Department of Philosophy. Today we gather to celebrate intellectual excellence, scholarly contributions, and the pursuit of knowledge by our erudite Professor Matthew Izibili, whose lecture, Philosophy in the Service of Society, the Asian Model of AIHEBHOLORIA, which promises to shed light on the significance of philosophical inquiry in addressing societal challenges. This highlights the relevance of philosophy in fostering critical thinking, cultural understanding, and innovative solutions. I am not a philosopher like Professor Izibili, our distinguished inaugural lecturer of today. I will leave the inaugural lecturer to do what he has invited all of us here to come and watch him do, which is to explore the intersection of philosophy and society, thereby promoting a deeper understanding of the role of philosophical inquiry in shaping our society. I implore all of us to listen attentively. Before we begin this intellectual journey, let me use this opportunity to once again congratulate my colleagues who were recently promoted to the rank of professors and associate professors, respectively. For the records, 57 were promoted to the rank of professors and 56 to the rank of associate professors, to the glory of God. May I also inform you, just last week, our law faculty's contingents emerged winners in National Space Research and Development Agency-sponsored national round of Manfred Large Space Law Moot Court Competition 2025. And this has qualified them for the continental round that is holding in South Africa in the next few weeks. And by the special grace of God, they will come out as winners, and that will qualify them as global, to compete in the global space, and they will win as a global winner. Because AAU is known for excellence, and by the grace of God, the excellence has come to stay. In Jesus' name. I must also not fail to appreciate our staff and students for the overwhelming support this administration has continued to enjoy since its inception. The management reaffirms its undiluted commitment to an uninterrupted academic calendar and will continue to play its part in the welfare of staff and students. With the unwavering support of our people-oriented governor, His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Monday Okpebholo, and the High Chief Dan Osiobi-led Dynamic Governing Council, the university management will continue to tackle all identified problems that will the College of Medicine and also other faculties of Ambrose Ali University by the grace of God. Success will be achieved in Jesus' name. Finally, I congratulate Professor Matthew Izibili, his family, the Department of Philosophy, and the Faculty of Arts as it performs the intellectual rites of initiation into the community of academic giants. I thank you all for your presence. May God bless us all in Jesus' name.
May I invite Professor Izibili to stand and remain standing. To indulge myself as a professor and Dean of Arts and exercise the oratorial license to dilate a little on the choice of the word fortunate for the distinguished acting vice chancellor. Briefly, I will do that. I'm sure you all understand why I say he is fortunate and success driven. But I was careful not to say extremely fortunate gentleman, because if one is more fortunate than he is, he will have as a suffix to his name, a title, EFG. The meaning of EFG is extremely fortunate gentleman. In the next few weeks or months, we will know whether he will qualify to bear that title of EFG. The only thing between him and that is to test the validity of the AIHEBHOLORIA philosophy. Since he became Vice Chancellor in September, the law provides for 6 months. This is the 9th month. Is that man unfortunate? He was provost for a few days and he became acting VC without a contest. Is that not fortunate? He midwifed the return of our sacked brothers and sisters. Is that not fortunate? The College of Medicine has begun to experience a rebirth with all those we have graduated. Is that not fortunate? I can tell you that under him things have moved well. We are not enjoying minimum wage. The only thing standing between him and EFG is AIHEBHOLORIA. And if he passes that test, the validity of his thesis will be questioned. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for those of us in the arts, we play with thoughts, we masturbate with ideas, and that's what I just did. Permit me now to present to you the inaugural lecturer. It is with profound reverence and scholarly admiration that I present to you one of Faculty of Arts illustrious professors in the ebullient person of Matthew AIHEBHOLORIA Izibili, FCAI. He is the 128th inaugural lecturer in the series of inaugural lectures at Inaugural University. Today, we gather not merely to witness an academic ritual, but to celebrate a person whose life has been defined by resilience, intellectual rigor, and an unwavering commitment to the pursuit of knowledge and the service of humanity. Born in 1968 in the humble environs of Ukboha, eastern southeast of Edo State, Professor Izibili's journey from the modest quarters of Odago, Uneme, to the pinnacle of academic excellence simply epitomizes the triumph of determination and divine providence. His early life was marked by formidable challenges, including his mother's illness during infancy. This particular experience was the crucible that forged the character of exceptional fortitude and faith in our inaugural lecturer. This grace enjoyed became the source of the ethos that has guided his remarkable career. Although Professor Izibili's academic policy commenced in local primary and secondary schools, his academic credentials are no less distinguished and exemplary. He earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in philosophy with second-class upper division from Edo State University, now Inaugural University, Ekoma, in 1997, followed by a Master of Arts from the University of Ibadan in 2002, and a Doctor of Philosophy from Inaugural University in 2007. He further enhanced his pedagogical expertise with a postgraduate diploma in education from Usman Danfodio University in 2010. His formidable academic credentials laid the groundwork for a career characterized by relentless inquiry and pedagogical excellence in our university and beyond. Since joining Ambrose Ali University in 1999 as a graduate assistant, Professor Izibili's ascent through the academic ranks has been marked by consistent scholarly productivity and dedication. He was promoted an assistant lecturer in 2002, lecturer 2 in 2005, lecturer 1 in 2008, senior lecturer in 2011, associate professor in 2014. His appointment to the chair of a full professor of philosophy in 2017 ultimately marked our inaugural lecturer as an established scholar. He didn't miss a single promotion. And the grace of the Almighty. Beyond his scholarly contributions in teaching and research, Professor Izibili's leadership influence is well attested. He has served in numerous leadership and administrative capacities within Ambrose Ali University. He was head of the Department of Philosophy from 2016 to 2018, sub-dean of the Faculty of Arts 2011 to 2012, coordinator of postgraduate programs in the department from 2014 to 16, and then 2018 to 2023, and has been a valued member of the University Senate since 2017. As the first editor-in-chief of A1A, Journal of Philosophical Inquiry, and his editorial contributions to several academic journals underscore his impact on philosophical scholarship, both locally and internationally. Professor Izibili's influence extends beyond Ambrose Ali University through his role as external examiner and assessor at numerous Nigerian universities, including Delta State University Abraka, Adekunle Ajasin University Akungba Akoko, Federal University of Lafia, University of Benin, University of Uyo, University of Calabar, and Imo State University, among others. In addition, he has served on the National University Commission's accreditation teams to institutions such as Alefekweme Federal University in Ebonyi State, University of Ibadan, Benue State University Makurdi, and many others. His professional affiliations, including fellowship of the Institute of Corporate Administration of Nigeria and membership of the Nigerian Philosophers Association, further attest to his standing as a leading figure in Nigerian academia. His contributions to postgraduate education are particularly noteworthy. Through rigorous supervision and mentorship, Professor Izibili has nurtured a generation of scholars, ensuring the continuity and vibrancy of philosophical inquiry. His blend of intellectual rigor and compassionate guidance continues to leave indelible marks on his students and colleagues alike. The accolades and commendations bestowed upon Professor Izibili reflect a career of distinguished service and scholarly excellence. Professor Izibili's awards and accolades include the Creative Values Global Leadership Award, which he had in November 2024, and the International MANM Book of Records Global Award of Excellence, which he bagged in April 2025. He has also received numerous honors from student bodies and cultural institutions, recognizing his selfless services and contributions to scholarship and community development. On a personal note, Professor Izibili embodies the virtues of humility, integrity, and warmth. A devoted Christian and mentor to clergy across denominational lines, a loving family man, a man of culture, and an A-list program anchor within and outside the university community. His fluency in Asian language and his engagement with cultural traditions roots his scholarship in a profound sense of identity and purpose. Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, sir, our distinguished guest, in celebrating Professor Matthew Izibili as the 128th inaugural lecturer of Ambrose Ali University, we honor a man whose scholarly rigor, administrative acumen, and cultural advocacy has significantly enriched this institution and the Nigerian academic landscape. His life and work truly inspires us to pursue knowledge with integrity, humility, and a steadfast commitment to the greater good. It is a great honor, therefore, and heartfelt admiration that I now happily invite you all to please join me in welcoming this distinguished son of Ambrose Ali University. A beacon of philosophy, a custodian of culture, and a true ambassador of academic excellence, Professor Matthew Izibili, as he delivers the 128th inaugural lecture of our great university. Thank you very much. Executive Vice Chancellor, sir, other principal officers, the former Vice Chancellors here present, deans and directors, heads of departments, distinguished professors, dear valued colleagues, academic and non-teaching, parents, relations and friends, my dear custodian of our traditions and culture, my Lord spiritual and temporal, great Nigerian students, the truly studying and studious great Nigerian students, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, my ABC, sir, I wish to crave your indulgence. Like it has been rightly announced to us, I'm an advocate of culture and culture enthusiast. Right in front of you is bowl of kola nut. And in the spirit of AIHEBHOLORIA, because we are in this land, kola nut need to be dealt with accordingly. So I seek your permission that the traditional rulers that are here, they'll give their blessings to this program as it is. Because the same instrument you need to tie a very big band is the same instrument you use to tie a small one. So the kola nut, please somebody take it to our traditional rulers. He who brings kola nut brings life.
Please give respect to the house. You cannot not speak English or and that will be here English. You are not all able, yes, or your home. Yes, are you? But before then, as tradition demands, I want to give honor to those from Benin. Any chief from Benin? Or anybody from Benin? Yes, of course, there are a lot of people from Benin. A chief first from Benin that is willing to attend to kola. In the absence of a chief who is willing to, okay, please, can you come over? So he may ask us to do the prayer. The reason is this. In a gathering like this, if a Benin man is in our midst, we give me that honor and respect. If you want to break it, do Bola, but if Papi just to break it, it is your blessing or the Oba Benin.
Praise the living God. My writing, or talk well. Are you boys that crying? Here is the starting point of AIHEBHOLORIA philosophy. No one exists alone. I take it again. No one exists alone. Instead, everyone is part of the larger community. Over the years, I have researched and published works in the areas of African philosophy, philosophy of culture, ethics, philosophy of development, as well as social and political philosophy, amongst others. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, today I seek to officially and publicly establish my humble credentials as a professor of philosophy in this respected university, in the specialties of African philosophy and philosophy of culture. These specialties enables me to talk about the application of philosophical perspectives and approaches to the study of culture, peaceful coexistence within the societal milieu. The main thrust of this lecture is to articulate the role of culture and cultural values and principles, the process of enculturation and socialization in shaping personality, identity, behavior, actions, and modes of living. This point regarding cultural determination of personhood is exemplified in the Esan philosophical principle of AIHEBHOLORIA, Adegbemu, and Arekpaigbe. In other words, the cultural philosophy of AIHEBHOLORIA indicates how cultural belonging can shape personality. An acceptance of one's own cultural root is good, but it is not enough. It's not sufficient for a people or society to experience development, unless it is anchored on the philosophical system called communitarianism. What did I call it? Communitarianism. This system places a strong emphasis on the interdependence of all members of the community, the welfare of the group as a whole, and the significance of shared values and obligations. Therefore, the Esan cultural ethics of Adegbemu, a support system to ease the challenges of loneliness and load of care, as well as Arekpaigbe, rendering the assistance as and when due to deserving persons and the likes, calls for attention and acceptance as a pragmatic philosophy to be promoted. Mr. President, sir, in the spirit of we need each other, that is why we are here. By way of introduction, it is a given that the issues relating to culture, especially those involving Esan ontology and cosmology, have engaged and have been engaging my mind for more than 2 decades now as a university teacher and resource person. This has been evidenced in a series of lectures and publications that I have modestly contributed to learned journals, book chapters in various outlets, being they local, national, or international. This lecture seeks to establish the existence and sustainability of a philosophy in Esan. This is done against the backdrop of examining and ascertaining who the Esan people are and how the features of philosophy and philosophizing can thrive and engender within a cultural milieu. This could serve as an epistemic window to see and understand, or a tool that would facilitate their much desired development. The cultural philosophy of AIHEBHOLORIA, to me, is an aspect of African philosophy that is strongly rooted and situated in the Esan approach to development. This forms part of what I have chosen to call Esanology of development. What did I call it? Esanology of development. This forms part of what I have chosen to call Esanology of development, and it reflects on the values of the human person as a subject of lived experience within the communal or communitarian values of the human family. Within the family, like you know, the individual is seen as a being of culture. His or her value of existentiality lies in the commonality of persons. Also, this culture contributes to the behavioral and character capital of the person and his or her moral or ethical values. This lecture further seeks to examine and highlight all of these ideas in relation to the African community in general and Esan people in particular. It is within this consciousness for integral development of the human person, within the influences of cultural ethics and values, on which I choose to make a clarion call to the Esan people, both at home or in diaspora. Thus, they should begin to see themselves as stakeholders that should be at the forefront in the quest for a holistic development of their land. In the spirit of common concern for cultural rejuvenation of values, I have come up with a philosophy of authentic living, and that is AIHEBHOLORIA philosophy of development. This proposed philosophy reflects on how the people have fared in the face of modernity or their interaction with Western world. In order to avoid the binary presentation of the cultures of the West and African by scholars of European orientation, wherein Europeans will claim superiority and see us as inferior, that has to be done away with. The problematics. The quest for peaceful coexistence presupposes the conscientious exercise of one's actions and choices towards the commonness of human existence in reference to the created order. There's none amongst us that fell from the sky. We were all given birth to. Am I correct? Except that you think that you are that very spiritual and you emanated from somewhere, one of the big trees in your village,
then you may not take this one seriously. When as much as the way and manner I was given birth to by a woman, that is exactly how you were born. That humanness should be seen amongst us. That commonality should be expressed amongst us in what we, or whatever we do. With the changing world along the values of modernization and industrialization, it is important to know that culture remains a phenomenon and way of living that defines and regulates both the political, economic, religious, social, and communication activities, as well as values of any community. There is a concern for authentic and integral development of the individual as a person. This is what defines the consciousness of the African as it relates to their self-definition beyond the shores of their ethnic identification. Hence, these aspects of African philosophy as exemplified in traditional Eastern cultures become the basis for the positive contribution to be realized of the noble vocation of the human person. This is succinctly expressed in the Eastern aphorism. What of by here? What of by here? What of by no here? Where was you going? And this is interpreted to mean no one person, truly walk the road of life alone. We need each other. Tell somebody by your side, we need each other. We are encouraged to focus on building strong relationships, encouraging our interconnectedness, and embracing our shared humanity, rather than solely rely on shared values or beliefs. This approach emphasizes the importance of community, empathy, and mutual support. This is what I earlier referred to as AIHEBHOLORIA ethics in Isanology, because out of time we hear no sooner. No one person, no matter how brave or how strong you think you are, can lead the load of life all by yourself to the head. You need somebody's support. The AIHEBHOLORIA ethics is an analogy in which the mere sharing of common values is considered insufficient for building a strong foundation for our life and society. Then next is ESA in history. I'm talking about ESA model. It is important that we share some thoughts on ESA. My concern here is not to argue for or against. There are so many historical reports concerning ESA and their origin. But one thing is sure, ESA is ESA. ESA is ESA. And this word ESA is used in triple ways. It could be used to represent people who live within this locale, Edo Central Senatorial District, made up of 5 local government areas. ESA is also the language that is spoken in this place. I don't know what I say, but they are here. But we cannot rule out the fact that we have some connectedness with the Bini people. We have that connection. But for anybody to come here and tell us that there was nothing like ESA until there was an exodus that happened some time ago in the words of Professor Efosa Osagai, he said that is part of stereotype in history. And if we are truly the same, I see no reason why our brothers from Benin will come to ESA and begin to call themselves that they are the Do that are in Isi. How can you be Isi in your own land? It never means that though we are the same, different people, different color. Otherwise, a Edo person cannot come to ESA and form a meeting and call it a Donorisi meeting in ESA. That being said, Obamahi, but Ayele Abaya Keke. Yes, now, Obamahi. Abi? Very good. But don't forget, Sikoko is not Simama. A portrait of a sample. To paint a portrait of a personality, have these thoughts to share with you. That we are descendants of fearless warriors and great farmers. Some people are very intelligent. They are industrious, proud, especially with the understanding of the virtue of self-esteem. They are very modest, hardworking, being firm and principled. Given a chance, they are brainy, forthright, and are endowed richly with leadership qualities. They are hardly tribalistic, not regardless to themselves, unlike most of other tribes and ethnic groups in Nigeria. Sadly, what did I say? Sadly, the Asian people hardly identify with themselves. Like other ethnic groups, where speaking of their language could open doors for them. Asian language has been so endangered in the words of Professor Mojuko. Why is it that if I speak Asian for you, that's when you now remember to say hello? That is worrisome for me. Especially those who tie beads in their hand in the name of chief. I greeted a chief on this campus. me, my ABC started, and I've got interaction this afternoon. I said you will know. That's why I come as a lecturer. IBC is part of the student I'm teaching now. Would you clap for me? If I does not know, so pronounce AIHEBHOLORIA is the problem for you. Shoba? AIHEBHOLORIA, as used in this lecture, it is a profound statement in Esa, which translates to one's place of origin should not be rejected or abandoned. This man has helped me. Please thank him for me. Regardless of how humble they may be, and strive to make a positive impact on their communities. There are some of you, perhaps you have been told stories that are not even true, and you are not patient enough to even verify. That everybody from your village, they are witches and wizards. And you forgot that there's no way a dog will give birth to a goat. If they are all witches and wizards, you are also witch and wizard times 2. Because the poison not sent from the snake, it is from which the small one takes it. Don't abandon your place. Don't think that where you are now, it is the best place you can ever be. Because people made it so. In Eastern aphorism, we hear statements like, Obo, Begbo. You don't just jump and get it there. Any place you call Uwame or city now, it was once what? A village. Culture. You know what that stands for? It refers to the shared values, beliefs, customs, practices, languages, and symbols that characterize a group or society, influencing how society think, how they behave, and interact with one another. Development. This refers to the process of growth, progress, and transformation, encompassing economic, social, cultural, and human dimensions, aiming to improve the quality of life, well-being, and dignity of individuals and communities. Ethics as used here. This is the branch of philosophy that deals with moral principles, values, and standards, guiding human behavior and decision-making, and addressing questions of rights, wrong, good, or bad. The human person. A human person is a unique, rational, and social being, characterized by dignity, autonomy, and inherent worth, possessing the capacity for self-awareness, freedom, and moral responsibility. It is from here that we draw the concept in Esa of Oria. Oria. Ohan. For us from Uboha. Ohan. Oh no, Johan, Johan. Oh no, Johan, sir. Then for the Uwesa and the Unea, it will say Oya. What makes an individual qualified to be so described as Igbegbeoya? Not only that the person has acted as a stakeholder, but he has something to contribute to the society. And this contribution is not necessarily in cash. Because he who tells you, you can do it, just give it a try. He has contributed to what you intend to do. Peace. It is a state of harmony, stability, and security, characterized by the absence of violence, conflict, and hostility, and the presence of justice, equality, equity, and mutual respect. Philosophy. It is a systematic and critical examination of fundamental questions about existence, knowledge, values, reasons, and reality, aiming to understand and interpret the world and human experience. In the context of this lecture, philosophy is philosophy, irrespective of its locale. What do I mean by that? There's philosophy in Esa, as it is in the West. Oh yeah? When an Esa man go to explain to you cause and effect stuff, the law of causality, they will tell you, I'm a low down. Either something is pursuing the rabbit, or the rabbit is pursuing something. There's a cause. They will tell you further. People will swallow there. Say, when I'm over you. That the owl that cried last night, this morning, that a child has died. The question we want to probe into is, what connection has these two things? But within our societal milieu, we'll be trained, our minds have been trained to accept such things. And that's the beginning of philosophy, where you begin to query, you ask questions, you want to interrogate. Why is it so? And why is it not like this? That again brings us to the issue of Owanle and Ewanle. It's not all elders that are truly intelligent. Due respect to the elders that are in the house. Because he that has been foolish all the while cannot just become wise when he becomes old. It is from that word, Owanle, that we get Ewanle. And that's what philosophy is about. Sophia, love of what? Wisdom. If Ewanle is about competence epistemologically, temperance, being able to decipher between that which is said and that which has not been said, that embodies in what has been said, you are doing philosophy. That's why it takes only those that have this sense of reasoning and understanding to be qualified as what? Owanle. And in plural form, they become Ewanle. Abulu. It's only you that will know whether you are truly Owanle or not. Philosophy in the service of society. It should be noted that philosophy develops in specific historical and cultural context, and this is done purposively. It is usually sensitive to both social and cultural activities. This suggests its pride of place in the African context and its land in particular. As a pursuit of wisdom, it plays a crucial role in the development of society, and its impact can be seen in various aspects of our lives. Though often seen as an abstract and detached field, it is a pursuit of wisdom aimed at understanding questions about existence, knowledge, human identity, equity, and values. No wonder it takes the service of professional philosophers to address the depth of probity, respect for human dignity, and equity, thus having the power to both shape and transform societies. In retrospect, philosophers, irrespective of their cultural background, have applied their ideas to address pressing societal issues to the best of their abilities. For example, Western philosophers, both ancient, modern, or postmodern, like Plato and Aristotle, laid the groundwork for democratic governance and the concept of social justice. Immanuel Kant, J.J. Rousseau, John Rawls, and others advocated for human rights, equality, and the principle of justice. Karl Marx, on his part, emphasized the socio-economic and political aspects of human life. Bertrand Russell strongly recommended philosophy for the development of nations, beginning with the deliberate development of the human mind. Don't forget, the Holy Writ says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. This is to him would help in overcoming the influence of prejudice in the consideration of matters of public interest. These ideas have had far-reaching impacts on Western societies, shaping modern democracy and informing debates on thematic issues like freedom. Is it working? Oh, it's working. Thank you. For instance, our greater thinkers like Buddha, Confucius, they place emphasis on the importance of harmony, balance, and social responsibility. They taught compassion, mindfulness, and the interconnectedness of human beings. It has inspired movements for non-violence and social justice in no small measure. By extension, the Eastern social norms and values have been greatly shaped by the philosophical teachings of Confucius. African philosophy and or philosophy of culture, though often overlooked in traditional discourses, offers unique perspective on community, identity, and social cohesion. Thinkers and lovers of African studies like Prof. C.S. Mamon, A.O. Chikube, C.O. Alrede, J.S. Ubiti, O. Oladipo, and others have asked thought-provoking questions like, what is the traditional culture about? How do certain beliefs or practices traditional culture, like beliefs in ancestors, witchcraft, magic, reincarnation, causality, cultural initiation, etc., contribute to the well-being and peaceful coexistence of African people? In Eastern ontology, for instance, are there elements what you call spirits or are conquering? Are there similarities or differences from modern scientific culture? Are there ways in which African traditional culture could be preserved, promoted, and honestly accommodated in the context of modern contemporary scientific culture and prosperity? All of these questions are raised, seeking for answers for you to understand that within each culture, there are ways and manners that will be put in place to checkmate the excesses of those who really want to comply with the cultural happiness. How many of you remember, if you are on this side of the divide, that those days when you have itchy palm, there's a way you interpret it. What do you say this? Say money they can be romanticism knocking on your door. I still remember too that there's this other aspect. They'll tell you have something like sore throat, you know. There's a way they want to administer some treatment to you. I said when you wake up in the morning, go to a building in the crack, go there and all people there, tell you I don't talk to anybody. And you believe. Doctors in the house is not possible now. But it works. For those who believe it, it works. Oh yeah. That was the message for them. Okay? And there were others too that don't want to go to you to get something for the parents. You have some boys, some reaction on your side of the app. If it's by the right hand side, you go and meet your daddy. He give you something and the thing will go. Does it really go? Am I just concerned? I wish you're listening with me. I'm talking of AIHEBHOLORIA. The introduction and the place of the concept of Ubuntu, somebody say Ubuntu. A communitarian philosophy means so much for Africans and African philosophers. This is the whole essence of Pamaki or Akugwe principle and practice among Islam people. Unfortunately, Pamaki about now does no longer carry that. Yeah, the steam is no more there. That is what we have now. That is dangerous. That's not the kind of Opamaki I'm talking about. Philosophy has contributed to cultural debates about identity, morality, and human existence in no small way. Philosophical reflections on cultural identity, heritage, and preservation inform policies for cultural artifacts, traditions, and historical sites. Here comes AIHEBHOLORIA as a model, a doctrine, a principle or logic of development based on essence value, especially that of communitarianism. I am because we are. And since we are, our being together is strengthening and guaranteed. Otopai to me, Miole, Ken. No matter how strong you are, you dig an underground well. You are the one digging, and you are the one seeing the movie design. 20 feet deep. I'll send with him. Otopai to me, Miole, Ken. You can interpret that in English. Good luck. Its role in societal development is multifaceted and profound. From shaping values and ethics to influencing science, politics, and culture, philosophy's impact is undeniable. Critical thinking, acquired through philosophical inquiry, can be applied in various areas of life, such as science, politics, and others. So, the next time anybody asks you what philosophy is good for, you can tell them that philosophy can indeed not only bake bread, can own bakery and shape the fabric of the society. The question of cultural philosophy in nation. The question about if there is African philosophy or philosophy in Africa is partaken by events. The thought system of a people is largely culturally dependent. In the eyes of it, our cultural and ontological conceptions of reality is in no doubt. Okay. Please bring it. Philosophy as love of wisdom enables one to critically fit the meaning and intelligibility of things for the development of the society. From inception, it was assumed to be a cultural legacy of the West, and that is not true. Here comes the need for the decolonization of our minds as Africans. Within the mindset of interdependence among some people yesteryears, there was a holistic and harmonious kind of philosophy that was given practical expression in norms, values, customs, and traditions. For example, the coming together of people to build community halls, community schools, primary health centers, markets. I wouldn't know how many of you grew up in a village like myself, where the community can gather and build a house for one person. And that itself was a way of stabilizing themselves, helping those who are not as strong as others. I may also know too, if all of us understand the fact that cooperative society started in Nisa, and we call it Irogan. And this was a way of helping each other. We go to your farm, day one, another day we converge again and go to the other. And by so doing, there was no room for anybody saying there's no food to eat, because we've all gone to each other's farm. We watch each other's back. That is the kind of development we're talking about. The place of the human mind in actualizing all of the listed and many others cannot be undermined. That is why we hear people say, it is the mind that you have with which you can do your witchcraft. Because you have Oko Esidi and Oko Obe. Oh yeah? To what extent has this one contributed to our society? In Western philosophy, they will tell you there's something called determinism, free willism, fatalism. But we are aware in this part that, see, it is not the case that what will be. There are things you need to do. There are ways you need to operate. Because no one plants seed of pawpaw and expect orange in return. Everybody are calling. All the wise sayings found among some people are out of ingredients of our philosophy, and by extension provide epistemic window towards understanding our rich culture, our ethics, politics, economy, commerce, and religion. These are the reliable sources of our philosophy of development. I say this. If minds were truly the same, they would have been left over of foods, whereas some persons went to bed hungry. Unfortunately, in the wake of newfound religion that is grossly misunderstood, even when you have leftover, you want to give it to your brother, they will tell you, I don't know whether you want to kill me. And don't encourage yourself. No, that they live there. That is mere consolation. You are hungry, there is food. Say, come and eat. Say, I'm okay, it's well. Will you care? I will have philosophy as the basis of authentic living. The Ailo Topavolo Massing in Esa ontology, which literally put, means a tree cannot make a forest, or a man. No man walks the road of life all alone. It's a cardinal point in the understanding of African worldview of man. If you check this slide, you'll see one common denominator, those of us who grew up in the village. There's a tamaku there. Check it. Check it. We call it ahubame. And our mothers in their wisdom, before they pour water there for consumption, the pot is usually sterilized. And that sterility, you know how they do it? There are things that fell from the palm tree, those things that will not truly yield the palm nut. You gather it dry and put fire there and turn the pot upside down. As it hits it, anything that is called gem, fire, whatever it is, they are gone. And do you know that if you drink water from that pot, How many of you tasted that? So, this part of the lecture is aimed at reminding all of us that no matter how highly or lowly place we may be today, we are a product of a place that may look obscure. As a reminder, the lives of Thales, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Buddha, and the rest, they all came from a background that may not have been celebrated. They never denied their roots. The cultural philosophy of AIHEBHOLORIA, as used in this normative sense, is to be understood within the ambience of African philosophy of the family. This brand of philosophy reflects on family-specific issues, such as the metaphysical foundation of African concept of family. Don't forget when we say family. In the West, they introduce uncle, auntie, nephew, cousin, first cousin. We don't have it like that. In as much as we're from the same family, you are either an elder one or a younger one. Am I correct? What has happened to us now? Auntie is not auntie. Uncle is not uncle. And we hardly even know our uncles. And that again becomes very worrisome in the wake of people changing their names. There's no way a white man will live in Ekpoma and give birth to a child and call the child Ewudagi. But what do we do now? And it's common among both the lettered and the unlettered. You give birth to a child, the first child. I say, what is the name? You say, endurance. What are you enduring? It's a problem. You have somebody, I say, what is your name? Say, Sisters Jovita. Where are you from? Oka. There's a problem. Oh. So a lot of you are giving your children those names. Bonaventure. Bertrand Rossi. You don't know there's name like a Fusa. You don't know there's a name like a Osagai. Can't you give such names? What if I'm more Juku? What's that? And if you don't like to give any of those ones, give Izibili. That's okay. Okay? This brand of philosophy reflects on family, specific issues, like I said, and the moral shaping as it relates to what? The African community. These are Asian people. There are instances of some Asian people denying or disassociating from their native homes, families, community, or cultural traditions. It is usually exhibited in the following ways. Their preferential treatment for strangers above brothers or sisters, a violation of Asian ethical virtue of Adase. What is Adase? An integral personality with a touch of integrity and respect. Unfortunately, what we have now are more of Adasole and over and above Adasuwa. Which of them do you belong? Obuwajole. You will not have hope to come back to. Age-long seasons, divisions arising from disputes, injustice, disloyalty, avarice, greed, selfishness, dishonesty, among others. These are issues we have to contend with. The unnecessary compartmentalization, I will stress this one, because I know in this distinguished audience, more of inside instruction. I want to beg you. Why are we compartmentalizing ourselves? Why are there these stereotypical expressions like Ikeke-san and Odale-san? Who does the map reading and map graph plotting? Why not let us take ourselves as Asian people? Because the more fragmented we are, the easier we become to be captured. Especially in this phase of insecurity. Asian is Asian. And no one part should lay claim that they are more Asian than the others. By the way, the above stated attitude is not peculiar to Africa in general or Asia in particular. Until recently, there used to be such derogatory appellations like third world, Professor Imodi taught us that third world and first world. And they brandished us as third world nation. I think by way of consolation, you now have either developed nation or developing nation. It's better that way. Examining the cultural self in modern times. The cultural self in modern times is a complex and dynamic entity. It is shaped by the intersection of traditional cultural values and modern influences. As a result of the identified intersections, there are now unique cultural landscapes. That's okay. Unique landscape resulting in an individual shutting down multiple identities. If I had my way, I would have asked this person to subtract me from the time you allowed me to waste. Who are necessary now? Who are meya? Kawabumena. I forward. I am another sort of my close. Amen. No doubt. Culture makes the African people. Are you following me? Are we together? Except you have denied me now. I am warrior. No doubt. Culture makes the African person what he or she is. Okay? I speak to this. There is none amongst us that make claim that we are not from a cultural background. We are from somewhere. Right? At that place, what we are examining here now is that whether in modern times or not, let me speak this is if I want to talk for him, I want to reckon I'm speaking what you can easily understand. Let me speak over. If I reckon for him, I reckon I reckon I'm going to go with it. And I'm going to go with it. And what is it? That we are now in modern times. So many things have gone wrong. We no longer know women that are married. We don't know those who are not married. As part of our culture, what we wear depicts our culture. I hope you are aware of that. Now, in the small start time I have at home, if it expires, if I don't subscribe, I no longer see television. But you know, if we do money, it's now free to air. Free to air. Free to, you know what I mean by that? Free to air. There are places in human physiological makeup that are considered private. It's a doctor. By the time the private part not become public, there's a problem. And that needs to be addressed. On this landscape where I'm talking now, that we have culture, and now we are now in Akbembo. One man and man. Let me discuss these two ethics. Anegbemu and Arakbagbe ethics. Don't forget, the more supportive we are to each other, the more progress we make together. This is the trust of Anegbemu and Arakbagbe ethics, and the one is propounded out. It upholds seriously the practice of giving a helping hand in the spirit of being each other's keeper. It finds its expression in the idea of the value of AIHEBHOLORIA with a normative view. By implication, it is a duty to help and contribute actively to your people's development and interest and well-being. Again, the idea of AIHEBHOLORIA as used here, to me, there is need to come to the aid or contribute to the needs and interests of your people, substantively called in Nissan, AIHEBHOLORIA. There are some Asian persons I need to celebrate here. I wouldn't know how many of you know these names. Sir Chief Dr. F. Ulifu. Celebrate that man. They understand the nitty-gritty of AIHEBHOLORIA. That AIHEBHOLORIA or Leagogo Namero. I know he is unavoidably absent. I personally invited him. For those who have one business outlet or the other in this land, I celebrate them. They would have taken those somewhere else. And don't forget, there is no person you call Oriori. In English, they call stranger. That will develop this time for us the way we will do it ourselves. Obaria Ole Baruka. The best helping hand is at the end of your arm. Not until we do this to ourselves, we may go nowhere. All of the above help to validate the communal lifestyle which fertilizes the idea of AIHEBHOLORIA. It is the basis of one's ontological cultural identity. It indicates that the essence person is to be defined by his or her senses or practice of the values and virtues of sincerity, honesty, team spirit, truth, trust, solidarity, and humility. These values reflect the qualities of sustainable and meaningful growth and development any African community demands from a person as a subject of lived experience. Then look at this. It presupposes the values of integral personality and can be translated into the social conception of both qualities and commonality of responsibility. What do I mean by this? This is a variation from the Western individualism, and it has been taken by most Africans as a way of life, which is wrong. In essence, it is more of we than I. Originally, that's what I used to be until people start coming up with this idea. Can you do it all alone? I tell you, it's a strong negation of assumption and assumption. We can do it together. Yes, now we can do it together. Modernity may have been copied from the West or to better the lots of the people living within societal milieu. Don't throw away your own. There's a clear call on Africans in general, and there's some people in particular, to sift from what we may have been provided by modernity. You sift it, the one that will help us, of pragmatic value, sift it, and add it to our own. And reasonably situate the values of our self-authenticity, self-participation, and self-definition as a people in touch with their roots. Don't lose touch with your root. That's what I say. Don't lose touch with your root. I mean it, don't lose touch with your root. Because a good number of you can hardly go to your root now. And the only day you go there and you end up asking about people who died 3 years ago. And that is wrong. The success of the individual is and ought to be the success of the community. It calls for the commitment and interest of all stakeholders. And progressive ethical adherence are easily known by their moral prowess and their willing disposition. Be willing. Be willing. Don't say it's not possible. It cannot be done. It has killed us. Be patient. Let's give it a try. If you give it a try, or do it, nonsense. Not because you don't want to do it. And some, out of pride, very arrant thing, say, I don't know how to beg. I don't like begging. You, beggar personified, you only beg when it concerns you. But for others, you don't know how to beg. Tell somebody, change. The trust of our whole philosophy is that it is to be seen and accepted as a social, ethical, and economic, cultural ideology and political sphere of national change and reformation. That's the title I'm making. By virtue of one's sense of commitment and responsibility. This is the positive sense of AIHEBHOLORIA philosophy. There's a negative sense. You say, I know that now, I know where I come from. I know my place now. That's all you just know. But anything that happens in that place does not concern you. Don't worry. I want more I don't know. My business, sir, don't be scared. What I am saying, or what I have said so far, is that I can make me win as somebody in his hand. I do this thing joyfully because I schooled at the University of Ibadan. I know what the people was there. When you say, sorry sir, I'm lost, you say in this small class, go to Agbowo Market. You may not go to Ekibaki, sir. I will interpret it for you. If there are supporting hands on the human load of life, the lighter they become. Know that the load owner, take note of this. When they say, are you disposed to be rekpa? Hello? That is good to help each other. Are you disposed to be helped? Have you ever seen somebody climbing a staircase, 2-story building, with his hands in the pocket? Suicide. You are the owner of the load. You are asking someone to help you to lift it. It is ethical that you should bend down first. This, carry for me. Put it on my head. Are you making requests or you are commanding? That spirit must be dropped. To maintain an entitled mentality is a negation of the symbol of AIHEBHOLORIA. Don't feel entitled. Whatever you get, you are privileged. What are the challenges? I run through this. In this session of the lecture, my intention is to spot the challenges. Some people are scared. Say, AIHEBHOLORIA. I don't want to go to my place. They will kill me. Let me shock you. Do you know in a traditional setting, indigenous Issa, there's no hiding place for anybody who is from that place? Ask Professor Charles Alwede. He will tell you that before the invention of the modern computer, there was a computer gadget system called Okwega. And with this stuff, the mouse with which you browse your computer is that thing they hold to touch those things. And it takes only those who are sufficiently proficient in understanding it to know whether the window has been opened or not. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Instead, the willingness to be helped to such people, home or community, is what matters. There is a call for re-examination of the social organization of our respective communities. Number one, the way and manner our children or young adults are raised. What are the stories you tell your children about your people? Yes, so my father said, my mother said, what are you telling your children? And don't forget, those things you usually say to them, they are imbalanced. You don't even balance it. You would have told them to what your father did before he ran away. Because in this one, we say, but if they are not pursuing you and you are running, what happens to you? Don't worry, you think they don't know where you are. Some of you will be going to your village, you will pack car in the next place. Almost a solo ball. Solo ball. He has just done that now in the spirit of RFI. Obulo Bulu. Bulu Bulu. Ababona. The value we emphasize and how such is instilled in our children should be checked. What are the values we emphasize? In this town, our university town, you know what is happening out there? In my place, a young man that wants to be popular before his time will be extinguished with time. When you not ask of him, what's up, Bomboy? Say, Bomboy. Please, remember to instill this one in your children. That you don't fight because you want to conquer. You have no work, you have retired. Is that not an error? It's an error. And some of you are here now, you are angry. What concerns you about that one? It concerns me. Because he was at home. When the young ones not kill themselves because they are in quest of wealth. Inordinate wealth. Untimely wealth. Are your hand not a jackal's wife? Your incisors, we have no problem with it. Whether it's very long or short. But if it is long, where we get challenged is if your upper lip is wide enough. Don't go away. Those who are somebody know what I'm saying. May your children not die in your eye. The mode of socialization and others, they are also things that call for attention. Failure in our normative value system is a challenge. Parents that are here, we must stop to relate scary stories to our children. There's need to play that on Ekalumeli. They fed one to me. I'll deal with them. Let's lay down on it. Is that right? Good. Then now let me draw a conclusion. The conclusion of the matter have come. AIHEBHOLORIA is proposed here as an ethics of authentic living. If you are not prepared where you are going to sleep, it becomes undeniable that where you are going to sleep will be filthy, dirty. So you must prepare. When you say, AIHEBHOLORIA, prepare that your place will be so that will be fitting. People will come and be proud that you are from that place. Mistrust, fertilizes conflicts. And you don't hear from the other side. You are zeroed in. Learn to hear from both sides. There should be love demonstrated in giving willingly in help of one another. Therefore, I urge Asian sons and daughters in this hall this afternoon to help in the much needed growth and development of Asian land in the spirit of AIHEBHOLORIA. To the university level, I cannot thank you enough. Some of them are here. Please permit me. There's no way this agreement will capture all the names of those who in one way or the other impacted my life. But I know, deep down in my heart, I'm grateful to you. Thank you so very much for all that you have done. For those who played a very crucial role in my sojourn in university, beginning with my first degree, my supervisors are hereby acknowledged. Most signal Professor J.A. Onimawo and Professor O.G. Japo, they both taught me the art of conducting and reporting research findings for the records, and with a grateful heart, Monsignor Onimawo gave me my first journal publication ever. He could not make it to this place today. Monsignor, I respect and love you the more for the role you played in my life. Let Monsignor Professor F.A. Adebo, my M.A.'s supervisor in the University of Ibadan, thank you for what you did. Let very Reverend Father Professor A.O. Chekube, my PhD supervisor and mentor, I'm grateful to you for all you did for me, especially in making yourself an instrument in God's hands, not only to secure a space for me among the teaching staff of this university, but you also nurtured me sacrificially to gain my balance. Dr. S. Anigu, my PhD supervisor, I appreciate you, sir. At this point, I have to especially acknowledge and thank some individuals who made this day possible. My friends, turned brothers, senior brothers at that. Very Reverend Father Professor Greg Obedika, Comrade Jude Obasomi, Professor C.O. Alrede, Elder Ehis Isirame, Father Dr. A.O. Ali, Father Dr. A.O. Holebe, Dr. G.A. Obiyan, Dr. Philip O. Isambo, Professor H.O. Iwonde, Professor T.O. Agweda, Dr. Lai Lodepupo, I thank you for what you did for me. They all encouraged me to make sure I get this inaugural lecture done with and put behind me. I pray God to raise quality men for you, always, for your unheeding show of the virtue of Aref Baigbe. After all, iron, they say, sharpens iron. As an academic, I've had the great pleasure of working with several colleagues, both within and outside my specialty. Specifically, my gratitude goes to the following. Professor Don O. Akilom, the Dean of Faculty of Arts, the instrument through whom I gained admission into the then Bender State University, Yakuma. Please celebrate this man for me. It may please you to know that though I'm very happy, and my family we are happy, Professor Don Akilome is happier. Because the boy, he collected his papers and said, you want to read? Don't worry, I will see my Oga. Go and pray. And the prayer was answered. A day to the matriculation day, no phone. The message was sent to me. Your name has come out. I bet thank Professor Don again. Thank you. Eba Lulu, wale mera yo are o. Let me also, in a special way, thank Professor D.U.R. Mumia. If you have a copy of the lecture, you see the way I put it there. My angel that showed up in 2007. Our Meruparis woman. Thank you very much. Sit down. To my siblings, others, Jojo, Dana Izibili, Christy, Ukato, God bless you all. For others whose name I cannot mention now, I love you all. May the peace of God that passes all understanding reign in your home always. In Jesus' name. Please, we have not closed. Can you kindly sit down? We have not closed. Kindly sit down, please.
Izibili family, are you ready? Izibili family, Pastor Swans. Izibili. Yes, please come.
Hello. Madam, okay, if I block it, if I block other camera. You can go and stand there, sir. That's right.
Congratulations. Financial benefits.
And I believe that this lecture will benefit everyone that has heard him speak today to the glory of God's name. Thank you, sir. I am Mrs. Eunice Osadebare Izibili, the wife of the inaugural lecturer. Thank you, sir.
Sir, a lot of people came from different places and here.
Yeah.
What do you have to tell them? The matter what of appreciation do you have for them?
Yes, the piece of advice is simple. That people should not denigrate their roots. We should be reconnected with our roots. We have identity. There's an identity problem in Africa. And people want to present themselves as who they are not. But they forgot that they're from somewhere. Okay. We should identify with our people. AIHEBHOLORIA. Yeah. Otherwise, there's no development that we can ever enjoy. Yeah. If we are not involved. Okay. We should be involved. Yeah. And that involved means giving back. We should learn to give back the little one we have. Okay. So that it will transform our community. You understand that? Yeah. That is the call I have made. Okay. And over the years, that has been my drive. That our culture cannot be jettisoned. Those that bind us together, those traits, those norms, those values, they have been
university dies. They're no longer as potent as they used to be. That's why things are going the way they are now. I'm asking that there's need for what? Revival.
You're right, sir.
Revival. What do I call it? Revival. God bless you.
So, sir, please, do you have any message to those in diaspora, both at home and diaspora, sir?
I want to go. In diaspora, both at home and in diaspora. For those of them that are at home, they should not behave in such a way that those in diaspora will be scared to come home. You know that? Yeah. And those in diaspora, they should not brandish everybody at home as people worrying them. They should put their house in order so that they have somewhere to come. In this time, we have what we call AIHEBHOLORIA. Make it well so that people can come, right? And as they are there, people made that place so they can swear bring the things to this place. We will all enjoy. But that's understood. Yeah. Because if we're able to collaborate and cooperate, we can turn this place better. That is the message I have for them.
Please, sir, congratulations, first of all. I must say congratulations. Why at this time you organize this kind of lecture?
It wasn't necessarily that I organized. The university called me to do so because I've been professing now for about 10 years. And they say, as a professor, for your chair to truly be instituted, you have to call the university together and tell them what you have been doing over the years. What are your areas, your specialty? Yeah. That's what I have just done. My chair has been given foam now, very good coffin. I can sit on it now, Professor of African Philosophy. Okay. God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. We are very grateful, sir. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir.